Hey guys, Preston here. Welcome back to another video. This is a live post-game reaction to Notre Dame's narrow victory over Virginia Tech. Since I'm doing it live, I'm just going to give it about a minute, give people a chance to come in, if at all. I'm not expecting a huge audience or anything, but you never know, right? So just give me a minute to send it out at least a little bit. I'm going to make sure I sound okay. Okay, sounds fine, so that's good. Sorry, guys. So, one more thing on the phone, and then we're good to go. Just want to make sure it gets spread everywhere. All right, here we go. Now I'm just going to treat it like a regular video kind of deal. If people want to comment or they see this and chime in, that works perfectly. Please notice the bottom ticker. So, any questions, comment below. Like I said, please leave a like on this stream as it helps more people find it. And if you can subscribe, if you haven't yet, that'd also be very helpful. All right, sorry for the beginning little delay. Let's get right into the actual game itself. Definitely a stressful one. A nail biter for sure. I actually got the A&M Alabama game on the background too, which is also a real close game. And Michigan also narrowly escaped Nebraska. So crazy kind of weekend overall of college football so far. A lot of close, tight games. I do wish Michigan would have lost, but it's whatever, right? So overall, I just don't know how to feel about this game. It was definitely what you'd call a roller coaster of emotions. It wasn't a great performance. I don't care what anyone says. You can call it gritty, probably, sure. We fought hard, we got the win, which is a common trope of this season. The Cincinnati game, I felt like we didn't fight hard enough, and the quarterback mismanagement. I think if Pine started the whole game instead of Cone, I think there's still a chance we would have won that game, but that's definitely not certain. So I don't want to make it appear that way. And yet again today, I think the quarterback situation was interesting to say the least. I know we got the win, so people will probably tell me not to complain or something, but I still feel like Pine should be the guy. I know we won in hindsight's 2020, right? But if we're being honest, Buckner and Cone both had good moments this game. Like Cone, when Buckner first came in, he looked awesome, led like 2 or 3 good drives. Then he just couldn't throw at all. Cone, when he started the game, looked awful. Then when he came in the fourth fork for Buckner, he looked good, led us to the win, right? So it's just, to me, just in my opinion, Pine gives you the best. He's like the perfect combination of the two, because Cone is a very reliable pocket passer. Well, relatively reliable pocket passer, but he's inconsistent a good amount of the time, and he's just sometimes with the O-line play and stuff, he can't help himself. It seems like doesn't have the greatest read on the pressure. He ran into a couple sacks today. To sack twice. So that is actually progress real quick. I will say the offensive line probably had its best game today. Still wasn't fantastic, but it was its best game by far, just in terms of the rushing numbers and the amount of sacks allowed. 2 is by far the least amount of sacks we've given up this year, so not bad by them. But in my opinion, like I was saying, I think Pine gives you the scrambling ability of Buckner, which is something you need, at least you have needed so far this year, just based off the unreliable protection the quarterback gets, and the fact that it helps your run game, and by making sure the quarterback's a running threat too, the defense has to account for that, which opened up lanes for Williams and Diggs and stuff. The run game was definitely better when Buckner was in the game. There's no doubt about that. Actually, probably made the line look a little better too, if we're being honest. But the pass game suffered immensely when Buckner was in. So when you put Pine in, he can do the scrambling stuff that opens up the run game, but he can also pass. Right now, just based off what we've seen so far, he can pass probably a good amount better than Buckner showed us. Buckner's still young. He really only got 1 season of high school experience, if we're being honest. So a lot of injuries and COVID stuff. He's a really raw player. He needs some work still, which is fine. I'm not hating on Buckner. Like I said, he led us pretty well for a little bit there. And then Cone, like I said, can make the throws that Buckner can't, but he can't make the runs that Buckner can. So that's why, to me, Pine should be the guy next game. I don't care what anyone says. By the way, USC got demolished by Utah today. So to me, there's no excuse for that USC game. Hopefully I'll get my predictions out, and you will see that I fully believe that we need to and are expected to win that game. There's no excuse. If Utah can thrash them, we can at the very least beat them. You'll get an actual score prediction for that specific video. Now that I got my quarterback ran out of the way, talked a lot about some of these other games. Let's go straight into just the stats like we normally do. We'll talk about the offense first. So, like I said, the 2 quarterback split carry reps today, not carries. I don't know why we didn't see Pine. I don't know if there's something more there. I really hope that he's not like Kelly's doghouse or something, because like I said, I think he's still our best option. But we saw Buckner and Cone for a similar amount of pass attempts, actually. So Buckner, rough passing. He was 6 for 14 for 113 yards. 1 touchdown. That was his best drive of the game, was that touchdown drive. It was a beautiful throw to Kevin Austin. Austin did a great job staying in balance to get that touchdown. And then 2 picks. Rookie kind of stuff there. One of them was a read where he just didn't know better, just based off inexperience. And the other one was an awful throw. Like, some of his throws they're rough, man. Like, not accurate at all. He missed some screens and stuff like that. The accuracy appears to be the biggest issue for Buckner right now. The 1 pick, I can't get as mad about. To me, that's just like a freshman mistake. But one of them was definitely just because he was wildly inaccurate, and that's something you can't have happen for your starting quarterback. Cone was, overall, on paper, the numbers aren't awful, but he's 9 of 11 for 108 yards and a touchdown. But if you watch that beginning of the game, like most of us, the offense was just not moving with him at starting quarterback for that first half of the game. For the first quarter, really, we're scoreless and just didn't look great. So it's how it is. But like I said, I want to give some credit to both of them. They both had their moments. Pine brought us back. I keep saying Pine. Buckner brought us back into the game when he provided the spark when we first brought him in. Led 2 good drives that led to points, if I remember correctly. And then, obviously, the mistakes came in. But once he fell apart, unfortunately, Cone was able to come in and lead another good game-winning drive. That's something he has been able to do all of the year. Regardless of his missteps throughout the game, he has a good knack for, being able to get it done in the end. He led the game-winning drive against Florida State, against Toledo with the dislocated finger, if you remember, and then today against Virginia Tech. So, Alex, what's up? Yeah, no, I'm not. We already know who's going to win that, more than likely. It's an expensive fight, man. Not much of a boxing guy, more UFC. We all know this, though. Okay, so the running game, like I said, was better. I guess real quick overall for the quarterback, I don't know what all to say. It's a mess still, basically. It's a carousel. It's a ever-ending cycle of quarterbacks. We'll see who starts next week. Not next week, sorry. We have a much-needed bye week next week. But knowing Brian Kelly, I have a strong feeling it will probably be Jet Cone. And we'll just have to hope that his offense isn't so dead in the first quarter that we don't have to bench him. But maybe, there's a possibility that maybe it's not Cone. Maybe the offensive play calling is just god-awful, whatever they script out in the beginning, and it makes him look worse. I think Cone would look better if he got better protection and a little bit of better play calling. But if we can't provide that, then I still think Pine is the guy just overall. But we move on now. The run game was better today. It's the best it's been all year. Most likely, like I said, because of Buckner's presence. Buckner was not great passing. We all know that. But he did a heck of a job of opening up the run game for everyone with multiple guys doing really well today. The yards per carry weren't great for some of them. Kyron had 19 attempts for 72 yards. That's the best game of the year, I believe. Purely rushing-wise, he's done good in the passing game before. So I'm a little distracted. A&M is at the logo with 1:26 left. An Alabama upset would be awesome, and it would actually maybe give us a little bit of a window towards a playoff spot. Not that I think we'll make it or that we deserve to make it based off recent performances. Just, keeping the hopes alive and just enjoying this very weird season all around. And then Buckner, Like I said, didn't get it done in the passing game, but he got it done running the ball. 67 yards on 12 carries, averaging 5.6 yards a carry, and a rushing touchdown. So Buckner and Williams with rushing touchdowns. This was Kyron's best game by far. Dude looked motivated. He fought hard for some of those yards. His touchdown was an awesome play. If you haven't seen it yet, find it on Twitter or something. He shook off like three dudes and stumbled into the end zone. It was a great play by him on that third down, I believe it was. Either way, then the freshman Logan Diggs. Freshman did get playing time today, mainly because of injuries, but I will say it was nice to see Kelly willing to play some of the younger guys. I don't know what's going on with Pine, but besides that actual true freshman, a good amount of them played, mainly due to injuries. But hopefully with this bye week, we can get healthy because we really need it. Guys like Michael Meyer they're obviously a big part of our offense. So, scoring 32 without him is actually pretty impressive. And with the quarterback mess, I do think if we could have eliminated some of the simple mistakes, like the defense struggling to tackle and the interceptions, this game could have been less stressful, if we're being honest. But obviously did not go that way, and we still got the win, though, so that's what matters. Matters a little less now. We're not undefeated anymore, so you probably need some more convincing wins if you're looking for a New Year's Six bowl game. But if teams around us keep losing, then maybe just winning will be enough. We'll have to see, right? See how the rest of the year plays out. Like I said, true freshman Logan Diggs had 6 carries for 29 yards, 4.8 yards per carry, so the averages was pretty good. It looks pretty good out there. Based off today, it appears he's above Sibo Flemister on the depth chart. That could just be because of Sibo's suspension that made him miss most of the year. Maybe he's just not quite up to speed yet, or maybe it's still lingering and Kelly's just likes Diggs more. Either way, pretty good reps for the true freshman who, if Kyron, it's kind of up in the air if Kyron goes pro or not after this year. I think most of us were expecting if he had a season like he did last year, he definitely would have gone pro. But, with the struggling O-line and stuff, his numbers haven't been quite what I'm sure he wanted to or what scouts would want to. But his talent still flashes, so we'll have to see. But if he's gone, then I'm confident that, guys like Diggs and Tyree could step up. We also still haven't seen any Audric Estime. Hopefully he can get some carries at some point if Diggs got some. Tyree might be hurt. That's something to keep our eye on. He only had 3 carries for 14 yards. I do wish we used him more, but like I said, I don't know entirely when he got hurt. I can't remember. So maybe that's the reason. Hopefully that's the reason, because if it's not, then we just need to use him more. There's no excuse. Receiving-wise, like I said, it was not a great day for passing the ball, but Kevin Austin had one of his better games, 3 receptions for 70 yards. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Austin didn't get a touchdown. I misspoke earlier, but he almost did. But, yeah, one of the biggest catch was that 46-yard catch. But for the most part, he's a pretty reliable target today when open. Made some good plays, helped move the offense. Avery Davis as well, 3 receptions, 64 yards. A bit too many targets there. Some of those were bad throws by the quarterbacks, though, especially some of those, Buckner balls that went everywhere except to where they should go. Lindsey was a perfect 2 for 2 for 31 yards, and Williams had 26 yards on 5 catches. George Takis is like the first tight end in forever, not named Michael Meyer, to have a catch. A nice 15-yard catch to actually hit that, helped set up that field goal game winner by Jonathan Dorr, who we'll talk about a little bit. And then Colsey had a target, but that was on the interception. I don't think that's his fault, though, so that's more of a Buckner mistake than a Deion Colsey mistake. Jonathan Dorr, like I said, had his best game in a while, which is good to see. We know he's kind of since towards the end of last season, he's been struggling with inconsistencies, but today he made the biggest kick that he needed to, nailing a 48-yarder, which was his only field goal attempt at the game, and he got all of his extra points. If anyone wants a quick update, since this is live, A&M is in field goal range now, and apparently they called PI on Alabama. So looks like there might be a big upset in college football tonight, boys, and Alabama might lose to A&M. 2-loss A&M, who struggled against against Colorado, and isn't that good of a team. But they got it done today, so big credit to them. I'm not a big A&M fan in general, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. But I root for anyone to beat Alabama. I don't care who it is. So good work if they can pull it off. All they got to do is not shank like a field goal or something, or turn the ball over. That'd be a nightmare. All right, so Kyron, like I said, huge shout-out to Jonathan Dorr. He made all the kicks he needed to, did his job, played great, and let's hope he keeps that consistency. In terms of punt returns and kick returns, there's nothing today. I think it might have been According to Bleacher Report, there was literally no returns. For some reason, I can't really remember if there was any. It seems like there's a lot of fair catches today. I think Virginia Tech honestly did a pretty good job when it comes to their kick and punt return coverage, though. So maybe it wasn't all just purely us playing super safe again, and maybe it's just how the game played out. Defensively, I put on Facebook and stuff too, and some of the groups I'm in. It wasn't the most convincing performance today. The third down defense was really disappointing to me. But I'm gonna check ESPN if they even have that stat. But it just felt like for some reason every time on third down, we couldn't get the job done. And it drove me crazy because third and longs a lot too. And you got to get the team off the field, Team stats. There we go. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so it wasn't awful. They were only 8-17, but those 8 third down conversions we gave up, a couple of them were like 3rd and 9s when it really would have been useful to get off the field. Like I said, it wasn't their worst game, but they allowed 321 yards and 134 rushing yards. On paper, it wasn't awful. They were undisciplined at times, and just making tackles was an issue today. Cam Hart had a pretty bad missed tackle. There's some other missed tackles today. Scrambling quarterbacks has been an issue this year. I mean, it was obviously most viewable today. Real quick, shout out Texas A&M for beating Alabama. No idea what the rankings are going to look like now. Georgia goes to number 1. I'd assume Iowa number 2. I wonder, they probably should drop Alabama out of the top 4, but I don't know if they will. Depends on how they feel some of these other teams deserve to move up. It'll be interesting. Knowing it's SEC teams, they might overhype them a little bit. I think A&M just – it's a good win, but I don't think this is like their level all year. I don't think they're going to be quite at the level of beating Bama consistently this season. Either way, so yeah, sorry guys. I'll get back to more specific stats. I think overall, I want to compliment the defense this year on the turnovers they've produced. 10 interceptions on total this season, and what is it? We like 5 games in? I wish I remembered, but yeah, they're getting picks, they're forcing fumbles, all that good stuff. Sometimes it feels like they get a little soft at bad moments. For example, with 32 seconds left in the first half, they let Virginia Tech drive down the field really easy, really fast, and hit a field goal. If that didn't happen, this game could have been possibly a bit more comfortable. I don't know how it all played out, obviously, but stuff like that just can't happen. You can't fall asleep. Missed tackles were an issue, but just stats-wise, if you want to know, Isaiah Foskey had himself a day again. He got the sack. He got a forced fumble, 7 tackles. Foskey's great. He might be a kid who could end up going pro after this year. I hope he sticks around, but you never know. Like I said, we 4 sacks, but the Virginia Tech quarterbacks, all like 3 of them, or I think it was just 2 that played, they all had a knack for escaping the pocket and making our guys miss. We just got to work on QB containment overall, I'd say. Secondary left a lot to be desired, honestly. All of them, even our big guy in Hamilton. Not a lot of huge plays coming out of there. Missed tackles, open guys. It was a bit of an issue today that needs to be worked on. I will give major credit to Tariq Bracy. Obviously, at his whole game, he falls under the same thing I'd said about all the DBs. But he did get a huge pick for us in that game. Brought us a little bit of momentum and helped the team out. So huge shout out to Bracy for that. I've ragged on him in the past. Obviously, he's an upperclassman who's lost some of his playing time to, sophomores and some of the younger people. So, wish him all the best. Maybe he can start itching at the heels of guys like Clarence Lewis who have not played their best football recently. Recruiting-wise, if anyone's interested, we are recruiting better at corner, so hopefully the future is pretty bright for that position, and maybe we'll have to look at the portal or something. But overall, not a bad performance by anyone. Just got to get better at tackling. I just don't know how to describe it because it wasn't anything crazy bad, but it was 29 points, and some of them felt like back-breaking drives. We just got to stop some of these back-breaking drives. It's the same issue I've said in the past. It seems like when our offense is scoring, like when Buckner first came in and he was scoring, then the defense would go soft and start giving stuff up. Like, we need them to mesh together to finally start playing to the full potential we have, and hopefully that can happen. I mean, maybe after the bye week, right? Must-win game against a rival. USC is, like I said, they got murdered today by Utah, so it's a game I think we need to do better at than this game. I think we should win by a larger margin. Would probably be expected in the eyes of like the college football playoff voters and stuff too. So see how it goes. Either way, guys, decent game. Got the job done. Refs were garbage. Just a random thought. Call me a hater, but we won the game, so I'm not blaming. You can say I'm blaming the refs, but I'm blaming the refs for the reason why we didn't win by more. I guess you could say. ACC officials to me are just. It might be the worst in the country, and unfortunately, Notre Dame has to deal with them a lot. Some bogus calls today. Our running backs got hit late, like clearly out of balance, at least twice. No calls. D-line, I love our D-line, man. They bring that pressure, but unfortunately they were held all freaking day, sometimes borderline tackled with no calls, so you want to see them. You want to see refs. Just do better, refs, please. Just in college football, just football in general, every sport in the world, just refs, be better, please. You impact too many games nowadays. That's all I'm saying. Player of the game for each position, that's a tough one for me, if I'm being honest. ESPN gave it the cone for the comeback drive. I just don't know at that first half. Honestly, I don't want to give it to anyone on the offense. But Kyron, because he played his heart out like he always does, and he made some good plays today and had his best game by far. I think he was, 72 rushing yards is his best total in a while. Got the touchdown. Still blocks well. Just a general solid performance by Kyron Williams, like always. So he's my offense player of the game. Dorr gets player of the game too. Sure, he's my special teams player of the game. Obviously, his kick was huge, and he made all the thing. Every kick he made, every kick he attempted, he made. So huge shout out to him. Defensively, I'm gonna go with Foskey. Bracey had that great play, but I think overall our defensive line was still our best unit on the night, and Foskey got the sack. So, but just give it to Foskey. I don't know. Kind of a weird game today, guys. Honestly, I was just a roller coaster of emotions. So I wasn't paying as much attention to some of the more minute details like I could normally. Either way, let me know what you think about this game in the comments section below. Please like this video if you haven't yet. Also subscribe and tell your Notre Dame friends about the channel so they can, be a part of this little community we're trying to build here, just talking about Notre Dame. So I also make Steelers. There you go. Pointed the wrong way. Steelers and Penguins videos. It's hard because the camera flips. It's like a mirror, but you get the point. You see the Penguins and Steelers jersey in the background, as well as Pacers content. Might start expanding into some U.S. national team stuff, especially with the men's soccer team. So anyways, guys, once again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Stay tuned for more. This is KMA Preston signing out. Go Irish. Good win, guys. Gritty performance.